You thought Napoleon Dynamite was just a weird indie comedy? Think again.
Napoleon, don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes.
Made for less than a car? Filmed in 22 days. Lead actor paid $1,000. Vote for Pedro became a cultural movement.
Who are you?
I'm the founder.
This $400,000 gamble made $46 million. Okay, let's start with the most iconic moment in the entire movie. John Heder, who played Napoleon, reportedly told director Jared Hess that he'd been working on this dance routine on his own time. But there was a problem. The shoot was wrapping, and adding a full dance sequence meant renting the gym again, getting the crew back, and coordinating extras. The producers were skeptical. A 3-minute dance routine with no setup, in a movie with barely any plot? It felt risky, but Jared fought for it. He convinced them to give him one more day. They scraped together the money, brought everyone back, and shot the entire sequence in a single afternoon. John performed the dance in one take. No rehearsal with the crew, no blocking. Just pure improvisation captured on camera. And this is where the movie secretly becomes brilliant. That dance isn't just funny, it's Napoleon finally succeeding at something. It's the payoff for every awkward moment, every rejection, every weird choice he made throughout the film. If Jared hadn't fought for that extra day, if the producers had said no, no payoff, no explosion of joy, no iconic moment. The entire legacy of this movie came down to one gutsy decision to spend money they didn't have.
Napoleon, I'm sure there's a babe out there for you too.
Number 11. Remember when Napoleon pulled Tater Tots out of his pocket?
How long did it take you to grow that mustache?
Couple of days.
According to cast interviews, that wasn't in the script. John Heder reportedly just had tater tots in his pocket that day. He was snacking between takes, and when they started filming the cafeteria scene, he pulled them out as a joke. Jared saw it, loved it, and told him to keep doing it, so they rewrote the scene on the spot. Napoleon became the kid who carries tater tots in his cargo pants. It's such a specific weird character detail that makes zero sense but feels completely real. And it became one of the most quoted moments in the movie. "Can I have some of your tots?" turned into a cultural touchstone.
Are you gonna eat your tots?
No.
Can I have them?
The best part? John kept doing it throughout the shoot. He'd just have food in his pockets during random scenes. Sometimes it made the cut, sometimes it didn't. But it gave Napoleon this bizarre authenticity that you can't write. Boom, a snack break became character development.
Come on, give some of your tots.
No, I'm freaking starved. I didn't get to eat anything today.
Number 10. Tina the Llama, one of the most memorable characters in the movie. The awkward animal that perfectly represents Napoleon's weird world. According to production stories, she was literally just hanging out at Jared's mom's farm. The production couldn't afford to rent exotic animals. They didn't have an animal wrangler. They couldn't pay for permits or insurance. So Jared reportedly called his mom and said, "Hey, can we borrow your llama?" And she said yes. They drove Tina to the shoot, put her in front of the camera and hoped she'd cooperate. No training, no handlers. Just a farm llama being a farm llama. And Tina delivered. That scene where Napoleon feeds her became iconic.
Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner.
If this had been a studio movie, they would have spent $50,000 on a trained llama. Instead, they got Tina. Unpredictable. Did your high school feel as weird and random as Napoleon's world? Drop Tina in the comments if you relate. Number 9. Every drawing Napoleon creates in the movie, the Liger, the fantasy portraits, all of it. That's actually John Heder's art. The script just said Napoleon draws something. Jared assumed they'd hire an artist or use stock drawings, but John said, "I can just draw them myself." And he did. On set, between takes. He'd sketched these bizarre, awkward drawings that perfectly captured Napoleon's inner world.
What's a liger?
It's pretty much my favorite animal.
The Liger drawing. John created that. The "girls only want boyfriends who have great skills" line, that came from John riffing about what Napoleon would think while drawing. And here's what I love about this. It means Napoleon's artistic talent is real. It's not a prop department creation. It's the actual actor expressing the character through art. This is method acting at its weirdest and most beautiful. John didn't just play Napoleon. He thought like Napoleon, drew like Napoleon, existed as Napoleon between takes. And it gives those moments so much more authenticity. You're watching Napoleon's imagination come to life through John's actual hands.
See for yourself.
They're what a talented but weird high schooler would actually create. Yeah, character depth through actual artistic expression. Number 8. Uncle Rico, one of the best characters in the movie. The delusional ex-jock living in the past.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
John Grease, who played him, got the role because he showed up to the audition in character. Here's the story. John Grease read the script and thought, I know this guy. He grew up around guys like Rico, men stuck in their glory days, still wearing their Letterman jackets, convinced they could have gone pro. So John showed up to the audition dressed like Rico, tight jeans, muscle shirt, ridiculous mustache. He didn't just read lines, he became the character. Jared took one look at him and said, that's him. That's Rico. No screen test, no callbacks. John Grease just understood the assignment so perfectly that he got cast on the spot. And then John kept improvising throughout the shoot. The way Rico throws the steak at Napoleon's face? Improv. The weird video sales pitch? Improv. The entire energy of a man desperately clinging to 1982. That's John Grease living in the character. If they'd cast a traditional actor trying to play Uncle Rico, it would have felt like a joke. Instead, they got someone who understood that Rico is tragic and hilarious at the same time. Perfect casting through commitment. And believe it or not, Uncle Rico isn't even the craziest accident, because the movie's success actually changed the ending entirely. We'll get to that.
You know what, Napoleon? You can lead.
You guys are retarded.
Number 7. Okay, this is where things get weird. And honestly, this is my favorite part of the whole Napoleon story. Vote for Pedro was just a throwaway joke in the movie, a weird campaign slogan for a high school election. But it became a massive cultural phenomenon. After the movie came out, Vote for Pedro t-shirts started appearing everywhere. Not official merchandise, just people making their own shirts because they loved the line. Then it spread. People wore them to actual political rallies. Musicians wore them on stage. Athletes wore them in interviews. It became a symbol of supporting the underdog. MTV even did a whole segment about the Vote for Pedro movement. Fox tried to make a TV show about it. The phrase transcended the movie.
Do you think people will vote for me?
Heck yes. I'd vote for you. Plus, you're like the only guy at school who has a mustache.
And here's the kicker. Jared and John had no idea it would happen. They thought it was just a funny line. They didn't design it to be a slogan. They didn't market it. It just caught fire because people connected with Pedro's campaign. The idea of the quiet kid running for president. The immigrant student is getting support from the weird kid. It resonated. And this is what separates Napoleon Dynamite from every other indie comedy. It didn't try to be cool or quotable. It was just authentic. And authenticity is what actually goes viral. If they'd tried to engineer a catchphrase, it would have flopped. Instead, they wrote something real, and the culture adopted it. Yeah, you can't plan a movement. You just create something real and let it happen.
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
Number 6. Here's something you might not have noticed. Napoleon Dynamite doesn't take place in any specific time period. You can't tell if it's the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. The clothes are vague. The technology is mixed. The music is all over the place. That wasn't a stylistic choice. It was a budget limitation. They couldn't afford to set the movie in a specific era. Dressing everyone in period-accurate 80s clothes would have cost money they didn't have. Filling the school with 2000s tech would have required props they couldn't afford.
This tastes like the cow got into an onion patch.
Correct.
Yes.
So they just used whatever was available. Thrift store clothes, old cars, random technology. And it accidentally made the movie timeless. It feels like it could be happening right now. Or 20 years ago. It exists in its own weird bubble. Think about it. Most 2000s teen comedies are locked into that era. You watch them now, and they feel dated.
Was I dressed like Peter Pan here? Take a look at what I'm wearing, people.
The fashion, the phones, the references, all screaming, this is 2004. But Napoleon? It could be your high school. It could be your parents' high school. It transcends time by accident. That's why the movie doesn't feel dated. If they'd had a bigger budget and made deliberate choices, the movie would feel like a period piece now. Man, sometimes limitations create better art than unlimited resources. Did your school have a real-life Napoleon? Someone who was just completely themselves, no matter what? Let me know in the comments.
That one's good. Looks like a medieval warrior.
Number 5. According to reports, they had just 22 days to shoot the entire movie. Most indie comedies get 30 to 40 days. Studio comedies get 60 to 90 days. Why so fast? Because they ran out of money. They started with a tiny budget, and halfway through production, they realized they were burning through cash faster than expected. So they had to compress the schedule. This reportedly meant shooting 10 to 12 scenes a day. No second takes unless absolutely necessary. No time for lighting setups or camera tricks. Just point and shoot. And it forced everyone to trust their instincts. Jon Heder had to nail his performance on the first take. Jared had to make snap decisions about coverage. The crew had to move fast and hope they got it right. But here's the thing. That pressure created spontaneity. There was no time to overthink. No time to polish every moment. Everything had a raw, immediate energy. And honestly, I think this is why the movie works. It's not overworked. It's not polished to death. It's just real people making real choices in real time. You can feel it in every scene. That nervous energy, that we're making this up as we go vibe, it makes Napoleon's awkwardness feel authentic instead of performed. If they'd had more time, they probably would have refined away all the weird quirks that make the movie special. They would have smoothed out the rough edges, made it more professional, and it would have killed what makes Napoleon special. Yeah, sometimes chaos breeds genius. And stick around because the way this tiny movie accidentally turned into a global hit still surprises Hollywood today. Number 4. The high school in Napoleon Dynamite? That's a real high school. Preston High School in Preston, Idaho. The students in the background? Real students. The teachers? Real teachers. The town? Real town. They couldn't afford to rent a soundstage or build sets, so they just asked the local high school if they could film there during summer break. And the school said yes. So they shot in actual classrooms, used actual lockers, filmed in the actual gym. Everything you see is real. And they hired locals as extras. People from Preston playing people from Preston. No acting, just real small-town Idaho residents being themselves.
Now, if you invest in the 24-piece set, I'm gonna throw in a little gift.
I want that.
And this is where Napoleon Dynamite becomes something more than a comedy. This gave the movie an authenticity that's impossible to fake. It feels like a documentary about small-town life because it basically is. You know what's wild? Hollywood spends millions trying to recreate authentic small-town America on backlots. They hire designers to make it feel real. They cast professional extras to act normal. And it never quite works. It always feels like a movie set. But Napoleon? You believe this world exists because it does exist. That's Preston, Idaho. Those are real people. That's what small-town high school actually looks like. If they'd filmed on a Hollywood backlot with professional extras, it would have felt like a movie. Instead, it feels like you're visiting Preston, Idaho. You believe this world exists because it does. Boom. Reality beats production design every time.
Pedro, just listen to your heart. That's what I do.
Number 3. Okay, this one's controversial. According to some production accounts, the original cut of Napoleon Dynamite ended differently. Some sources suggest it was just Napoleon handing Pedro the dance tape, with the screen cutting to black. Movie over. That's it. No dance. No payoff. Just an awkward fade out. The film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2004, and the response was good. People liked it. But reportedly, some felt they wanted more. They wanted to see Napoleon actually succeed at something. So, Fox Searchlight, which bought the distribution rights, may have given Jared additional resources to enhance certain scenes. Whether the dance was added, extended, or simply refined after Sundance, one thing's clear. The final theatrical version gave audiences the emotional payoff they craved. Can you imagine if the movie had ended with just the tape handoff? It would have been fine, but it wouldn't have been iconic. The dance scene transformed the movie from a quirky character study into a crowd-pleasing triumph. It gave audiences the emotional release they needed. And the fact that the filmmakers listened to feedback and refined their vision, that's smart filmmaking. Man, sometimes the best creative decisions happen after you think you're done. And speaking of finishing touches, wait until you hear where this entire movie came from. The origin story is even crazier than you think.
How was school?
Worst day of my life? What do you think?
Number 2. Here's where we go back to the beginning. Napoleon Dynamite wasn't originally a feature film. It was a 9-minute short film called Palooka that Jared Hess made as his final project at BYU Film School. Budget? $500. Palooka featured the same character, same actor, same aesthetic. Napoleon, originally named Seth, is living his awkward life in rural Idaho, and it was basically a test run for the feature. Jared shot it with borrowed equipment, cast his friends, used his family's locations, and turned it in for class. His professor watched it and said, "This is weird, but there's something here." The short got into Slamdance Film Festival, a smaller festival that runs alongside Sundance, and people loved it. Audiences responded to the bizarre humor and authentic characters. That's when Jared thought, maybe I can make this into a feature. So he and his wife, Jerusha, wrote a feature-length script. They scrounged up $400,000 from family, friends, and independent investors, and they shot it in the summer of 2003. From a $500 student film to a $46 million box office hit. That's the kind of success story that doesn't happen anymore. And here's what I think makes this so special. Jared didn't try to make Napoleon commercial. He didn't sand down the weird edges to appeal to studios. He just made a bigger version of the exact same movie. That's courage. Most filmmakers would have compromised, added a love story, made Napoleon cooler, given it a 3-act structure. But Jared stayed true to his vision, and it worked because it was authentic. And it proves that you don't need Hollywood to greenlight your vision. You just need $500, a camera, and a weird idea. Yeah, start small, dream big. Be honest. How many of you quoted this movie daily in high school? Drop your favorite Napoleon line in the comments.
Who are you?
I'm the founder.
Number 1. This is it. The ultimate Napoleon Dynamite accident. The fact that makes Hollywood executives uncomfortable. Jon Heder, the star of the movie. The guy whose face is on every poster. Who created one of the most iconic characters of the 2000s. He got paid $1,000. $1,000. For the entire shoot. For being in almost every scene. For becoming the face of a $46 million success. Why? Because that's all they could afford. John was a college student. Jared was his friend. They made a deal. We have no money, but if this works, we'll take care of you. And John said yes. He believed in the project. He believed in Jared. And he wanted to make something special. The good news? Fox Searchlight renegotiated its deal after buying the movie. John got a percentage of the profits. He made millions on the back end. But here's what gets me about this story. John didn't just take a financial risk. He took an identity risk. He created a character so specific, so weird, so unforgettable that he could have been typecast forever. And he did it for $1,000 and a promise. That's the power of believing in something bigger than a paycheck. John didn't do it for money. He did it because he connected with Napoleon. He understood the character, and he wanted to bring him to life. And because he took that risk, he launched a career. He became a cult icon, and he created something that people still quote and love 20 years later. Honestly, this is what indie filmmaking is supposed to be about. Not studios calculating ROI. Not executives playing it safe. Just people who believe in a weird idea enough to bet everything on it. Napoleon Dynamite proved you don't need money to make something great. You just need vision and commitment. Would you take that deal and work for $1,000 if you believe the project could be special?